officially a Twitch affiliate, so I want to thank everybody out there for their support. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to be doing everything on Twitch right now. For those of you who just joined me, I was doing, actually, my family and I were doing daily live streams over at Facebook Live. Ever since the stay-at-home order came down here in California, we just wanted to do it as a way to, add some structure to our day, and we love playing games anyway, so we started streaming every day, and it's been going so well. We built up an audience, and it's like, hey, we could actually turn this into a monetized thing over here on Twitch, get a couple of pennies here and there, right? It's always nice. So we decided to make the move over here to Twitch, and so thank you for hanging out and joining us. We still do Tabletop Tonight now at 7:30, and it's going to be here on Twitch exclusively. And then as an archive, you can find the episodes over on YouTube. I will download those later after Twitch's stream. So I think it's a 24-hour waiting period before we can add the YouTube stuff. So until then, we will be live here every weekday at 7:30 Pacific for Tabletop Tonight, where we play a different game. Usually it's me, Michelle, and Lauren, but sometimes Lauren and Michelle will take the day off, and it'll just be two of us. There is Amanda Panda. Amanda Panda is the wielder of the banhammer. So, folks, if you're in chat, please behave. We are a family-friendly stream here. We love to have a good time. We just like to hang out, and we show a lot of love. Just keep it clean and keep it fun. Okay, Amanda is the moderator. There is Monique Ruel. Thank you, Monique, for hanging out as always. Friends, every weekday as well, or not every weekday, but 2 or 3 times a week, I've been doing this series called Top 3 at 3. So excited to continue doing this. This is a way for me to hang out with friends and all other people who are either in the industry or just hardcore gamers or content creators or whatever. It is a great way for me to get to know them better and for you to get to know them better as well, because it's really interesting to me. I love hearing people's stories of how they got into gaming and what they're doing with games nowadays. It's really fun. So I always have a great time with this. I've had Eric from What's Eric Playing, Jackie from Show Me How to Win. Lydia is a teacher out in the Midwest. Amanda Panda, who is a moderator here. She is an ultimate gamer here in Southern California. Hey, there is Victor. What up, fam? Yes, got all the family here. Thank you, Victor, for joining me. There's Chris. Yes, I'm getting ready for our Chuck Norris jokes. Michael Petrie, thank you for hanging out with us, my friend. Appreciate it. It is a Monday fun day today. So without further ado, I'm going to get into talk about our guests a little bit here. Today, I have my friend Daryl, who's going to come on board. This is I've been really looking forward to this episode. Physical education teacher here in Southern California, Daryl Durston brings his passion for gaming to his classes. Whether it's transforming Super Mario Kart into a playground activity or incorporating exercise into board game play, Daryl's creative thinking has led him to being named his school district's PE Teacher of the Year. So, yeah, this guy, talk about a passionate gamer. Daryl and I became friends a few years ago, and our friendship has just blossomed. He's a local gamer, regular gaming buddy of mine. Our families are friends as well, so it's great. I'm super excited to have him on. So without further ado, let me bring Daryl on. Make sure I press the right button. Daryl, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going?
Good. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out today, my friend.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So, Daryl, let's just jump right into it. We have everyone in chat, so Amanda's going to be moderating chat, so if there's any questions, I'll bring those up. But how did you get into modern board games, man? I'm assuming that, well, maybe I shouldn't assume. Did you start off with Monopoly or Connect 4 or any of those classics?
Oh, yeah. It was, I think, Monopoly easiest, and along with Connect 4, maybe Clue every now and then. So those, as a kid, were the first ones that got me playing, and I liked it a lot as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I guess, shied away from it during my teen years, just went into more sports stuff and all that, and thought maybe gaming's not for me.
Right.
But then as you got older, later in the teen years, then we brought back Monopoly with my brother Daniel and other friends, and we really went hard on Monopoly. Obviously, not knowing much about the hobby and what other games are available, but
yeah. So did you dig up an old family copy of Monopoly and just start playing again, or did you actually go out and buy a new one? Or
initially, yeah, we had one of our own. Then once we just realized we were playing it every other night, then I went to Toys R Us when Toys R Us was around, and
Yeah.
bought like a legit one, I guess, deluxeified one. Like
right. Nice. All the nice little bits and stuff.
Yeah, so I thought I was all cool with a nice Monopoly set. But
Nice.
yeah, so that started it, I guess.
Awesome. Monique from Game Freak Girls, she's from Girls Gamer Shelf, Game Shelf. She says, must be nice to sit outside without melting. Yeah. One of the perks of living in Southern California. Me and Daryl live in the same city. He's across the way, but yeah, it's nice out today.
Yeah.
Amanda has a quick question. This is funny. Question for Daryl. How do you think of all the different ways to not play games with me?
Oh,
Just
man.
kidding. For some reason, yeah, I don't know. Have you guys actually played a game together, you and Amanda?
Maybe I'll have to check my stats. Maybe one or two, but
yeah,
it just so happened every time at the barbecue chicken, when I had to leave, that's when she'd open up to play a game, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to leave.
Nice.
So it just looks like I timed it every time, like, no, I don't want to play with you.
Right.
But I do want to play with Amanda.
Yeah, one of these days. I see some comments already about people talking about their gateway games. So yes, we are talking about gateway games today, folks. I'm just talking to Daryl about his introduction to modern board games, and so some of the games he may have played to get into modern board games, we're going to save them for a little later, the second half of the show here. Hey, there's Michelle. Monique says it's 97 in Northern California. I'm so sorry, Monique. Wow, 97. That's that. I feel your pain. Anyway, so you and your brothers, friends, start playing Monopoly, getting other things. I know a couple of the games that you got into that got you into modern board games. We're going to talk about in just a second here. But how did you, like, what inspired you to use games in the classroom? Now, you're a PE teacher. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So ever since elementary school, I've always enjoyed PE because usually I'm athletic, so I felt inclined and very happy that I could be the one that stand out in PE because other subjects I wasn't the best in. So PE was my time to shine. So all the way through elementary and high school, I knew that's what I wanted to do, was a PE teacher. But going through college, I found out, of course, a lot of kids don't like PE because usually that's when the spotlight you feel like is on you. Like if you have to, throw a ball and you feel like everyone's just watching you or whatever. Or if you're the last one to get picked, like back in the day, they used to have, captains and all that. And if you're the last one picked, it just sucks to be last.
Yeah.
So, but throwing board games into PE helped because I make sure that all the kids are included and it doesn't come off very sports-like. So it doesn't come off like, oh, we're going to do basketball. So a lot of kids get turned off right away, or football.
Yep.
So throwing these games out to elementary kids with changing Sushi Go into a game called Food Fight, it's pretty much a very simplified version, even though Sushi Go is already a simplified version.
Yep.
I made Sushi Go into a food fight game where you're using these big cards and they're trying to collect various sets. But anyway, so they're all included within their teams. They're working together. So more of a cooperation base instead of just individual.
So how did they get so they're collecting like the different types of sushi, just like Sushi Go.
Yeah.
What do they do to get those cards? Are they like doing jumping jacks or running around?
So for this one, all the cards are in the middle of the playing field, and each team is, on different stations about, I'd say, 20 feet away or so. So the kids, each kid from each team runs out. They have to do, let's say, 5 push-ups or whatever it is, jumping jacks at the moment. Then they're allowed to grab a card from the middle without looking at it, just to make it faster.
Yep.
They take that card back. They see it's a strawberry because I'm using like fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So they see that it's a strawberry, and by this point they already know, ooh, if I get 3 strawberries, that's 10 points. So now hopefully the next kid runs out, hopefully to get a strawberry. Let's say they get a lemon. They take that back, and they see lemons. If you get, every lemon is just an additional point or whatever, just like Sushi Go. So at least they're just more involved with going quick, working together as your team, and how many points can I get?
Right.
So that made it fun for them. Same with Mario Kart, as you've heard before.
Yeah, so I love this story. Talk about how you use Mario Kart as a way to get kids to exercise during PE class.
Yeah, so we have these little scooters that you hold on to the side, and you got to use your legs to get the cart going. Yeah. So it's a good cardio workout without the kids knowing they're working out a lot, because a lot of kids, don't like running just, hey, let's do laps, because that's boring. So using these scooters, they sit on them. First, we're just doing it basic, where they would just like maybe go up the court and back. And to me, that was boring. So I was like, what else? I love Mario Kart. That's my favorite video game. So I was like, all right, let's make a course. And then, of course, my first week of doing it was just the course. You know, they're racing around the course. One kid goes along with the other teams, and once they get back to their team, they switch. The next kid goes. So there's probably 4 kids per team. And then, of course, me being me, once I was like, "Ooh, this works. Let me throw in others."
Yeah.
So then, sure enough, I threw in like little obstacles. So it might be just something on the chalk. Like there might be a banana. So it's like, oh, try not to hit the banana, or
Nice.
So nothing that they actually get hurt from, but it's on the course and they try to go around it. So kids,
I love it. Yeah.
Every year they ask for me. I usually do that at the end of the year. So every year they're asking for me in the beginning of the year, like, when are we going to do Mario Kart? It's like,
so the word is out. They know. They go to Mr. Durston. It's like, yeah, we're going to play Mario Kart.
Exactly.
That's cool. Yeah, and I got some comments here. Monique says, I wish we had Mario Kart PE. That's brilliant. Agreed. Same here. Amanda Penn says, I wish I had Daryl as a PE teacher. Me too. So I remember that as a kid. Like, I mean, I love playing kickball. I was always, when we had kickball, that was my favorite thing. But then we'd have other sports like, man, like I don't really want to play volleyball or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, do something like that where it's not a traditional sport. I think that's really cool that you brought gaming into it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Daryl's also a game designer. So not only did you start with, you had your introduction to games with Monopoly, went into modern board games, which we'll talk about in just a minute here. You incorporated in your classroom, but you also design games. Can you talk a little bit about your journey into game design?
Yeah. Let's say I know I started a long time ago before I got actually into the hobby, and I was like, oh, I like Monopoly, so I can make a better game.
Yeah.
And obviously, once I realized writing out a game, like it's tough.
Right.
Even doing the easiest, filler game, it was tough. So I tried it. It kind of fell off when I played tested the first time with my family, and I was like, oh, all right, let me stop that for a while. Once I got into the hobby more so, then I was like, all right, let me revisit this and try a different game. So after maybe 2 or 3 games that kind of worked, they kind of fell off. Then I finally started developing Bad Juju, which was, I think I started 4 years ago, but it just slowly, I only was able to work on it, during the summertime when I was off from work.
Right.
So Bad Juju is my first one that I'm able to get on Game Crafter, where now people could buy, and I did a crowdfunding in March or so.
Yep.
So Bad Juju is my first official little copy.
Nice.
And it's right there. So
there it is.
This one's 2 to 5 players, and it's just set collection where you're trying to get either 4 of the same color or 4 different colors. But there's also some take that. So while I'm trying to work on my spells in front of me, I could try in a way hurt other people. But the take that isn't too drastic, because it's kind of hard to get those 4 very quick, because it'll take at least 3 to 4 turns to get one set.
Right.
So this is my first official one that I actually enjoy, and there's what's it called, where you don't want bad juju, which is why the game's called Bad Juju.
Yeah.
And this game actually came from when me and my brother would always play Uno nonstop.
Right.
We started handing out, if I was the dealer, we'd hand out cards and I'd say Bad Juju and hope he has a bad, hand.
Right.
And then he would do it back to me. So that whole concept came from Uno to make this.
Nice. So that's you get inspiration from your, the ones that got you into the hobby, and you look to improve it. Like I'm sure a lot of designers do as well.
Yeah. And then most recently I'm working on Boba Party.
Yeah. This one's I'm excited about. Really excited about. So I know it's still being play tested and everything. We play tested here, my family and I. Can you show a couple of the cards? I think the artist you got is fantastic. So,
well, it's actually thanks to Ruel, because I had a different theme. And
that's right.
And you're like, hey, what if it was more colorful? Because mine was a darker theme.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And once I went the lighter theme, I was like, ooh, I like this a lot.
Yeah.
So because Ruel helped so much, we got his dog Bruno on here.
There's Bruno, folks, with Boba. Yes.
And then we got a scorecard.
Yeah.
And then the numbers are just, other cards are just have numbers on them.
Yeah. I just feel like the theme, again, it's cute animals with Boba. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Yeah. And then, so I don't know if you want me to explain this one or just show more cards.
Yeah, just want to take a quick look at the cards because I know it's still in development. So maybe we'll save it until you get it out on Kickstarter. I don't know if you're going to Kickstarter or maybe do it on GameCrafter again. But
I'm hoping if it's not Kickstarter, I'm hoping like to try and push it to publishers.
Yeah,
like, and see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we'll see.
We got comments here. Wow, the artist did bring the color. Great printing, very nice. I see. Just going back a little bit, Andrew, thanks for joining us, my friend. Gamification of physical activity is such a great way to engage people. I totally agree. And since you started using games in PE, do you feel, or have you seen like a difference in your students? Like, are they more engaged? Are they more willing to do like Mario Kart or sushi or food fight? Or is it fruit fight?
Food fight, yeah.
Food fight. Are they more willing to do that than rather than the standard like basketball, football, or whatever?
Yeah, I would say 95% are like more excited to do these games that come from board games. And I let them know, like, hey guys, I'm into board games. This is a board game that I turned into a PE game. So they know like where it's coming from and all that. But I would say majority of them are pumped for it. Of course, you get the 10%, 5% that are like, I'm here to play basketball. I want to play against somebody.
Yeah.
And I still have that. Like, I still have the spot where I'm like, all right, guys, this week, because let's say I'm doing basketball, I'll still make the dribbling portion into some type of like board game-esque game, where it's not the kids that don't care for basketball aren't going to think like, oh, I'm just playing basketball. This is boring.
Yep.
But the last week I always have where the kids that want to play a little game, they do it because I get it. Like I'd be that kid that wants to play an actual game against other kids in basketball,
Right.
So I still do that, but majority just want to play like those fun games that that are really engaging, and you don't have to worry about, oh no, I'm gonna be singled out and I'm gonna look like a fool.
Yeah.
So
that's great, man. And again, the whole purpose of it is to get them active, right? And exercising. So Michelle has a question. Do you play board games for rainy day PE?
So we do go indoors, and when I do go indoors, I have like 200 dice and some cards. So I give each kid one, depending on what the game is, what we're doing at the moment. So sometimes it might be each kid gets a dice at their table, and the way I explain to them is, first, this one's really simple. You just roll the dice and you add up the total. So they're doing some math and all that.
Nice.
So let's say one table gets 22, another table gets 34 or whatever. I write down all those numbers, and then I have a big deck of cards, and I might pull out 2, 3, or 4 cards, and I add up those. Whoever's the closest wins. So I had to tell the kids, like, this is pure luck. So you don't need to re-roll the dice if you got like a 1 and you're hoping for a 6, because me drawing cards is going to be random as well. So so they like it, even though it's super random.
Yeah.
And then I do have another one where I draw like a board game on the whiteboard. And then each team will do various trivia questions or whatever it is to move along. It's almost like a roll-in move game. That I do.
That's cool. So when they're inside for a rainy day PE, it's all about getting the mental exercise, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Awesome. Let me see. There's comments here. We're going to take care of some of these comments real quick. Thoughts on roll and writes? Roll and writes. Have you used any of those in the classroom on rainy days? Or I don't know, would that work as a exercise?
I haven't used any. I think I've taken things from roll and writes, but I haven't used like a specific, hey, like every team has a whiteboard and they write something.
Yeah.
Believe me, I want to, but I just haven't like designed something to make it work for PE as well.
Right.
But that's on my list.
Cool. Right on. Friends, thank you again for all the questions. Really appreciate it. We're going to move into the second half of our show. And this is what I want to thank Daryl again for sharing your thoughts and your journey in the board games. Daryl, really appreciate it, brother. We've talked about how he's used in the classroom, how he's using games, been inspired to design his own games. But let's get a little more specific now. Let's talk about our top 3 gateway games, the ones that really sucked us into this great hobby of ours. I'm going to start, Daryl, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I'm going to go with a couple of honorable mentions. I've got 2 of them. These were 2 games that I played very early on when I first got into board games. I had started board games about 5 years ago, getting into modern board games. I just, like a lot of people, I found Will Wheaton on Tabletop on YouTube, watched a bunch of those episodes, and I was like, oh, these, I'll talk about some of the games that I got in a few minutes here. But I started going to a local game store, or actually a local comic book store and Daryl and I would later meet a few years later. But went to a game night. It was every Wednesday night, and I would play all these games I'd never played. And two of them really stuck out to me. These were, where's my, here, honorable mentions, Samurai and For Sale. So Samurai is still, both of these are still two of my favorite games. Samurai is a Reiner Knizia game. It's area control, and it's really, I don't know, streamlined, and like any of Knizia's games, and Daryl's a big fan as well. We talk about, we're like total Knizia fanboys. I love his designs because the rules overhead is so low, but the strategy is so high. Like, I mean, every turn it's an agonizing decision. Do I do this or I do this? I'm going to give up this to get this, but then so-and-so can come in and, you know, take over. I love Samurai. It's probably my favorite Knizia game. I have a few, but I think that's my favorite. And then For Sale, this is a classic auction game. Super simplified, super streamlined. It takes maybe 20 minutes. It can play up to 6. I know I played this a bunch with Daryl as well. This is such a great game to bring to new gamers and players who have gamed before. They like it as a filler. So Samurai and For Sale, two of my honorable mentions. Daryl, any thoughts on these games before we move on?
Yeah, For Sale was, like you said, one of the ones I've done with you. That was one of the first ones where it did bidding or auctioning.
Yep.
And yeah, right away I was like hooked on this. I was like, "Ooh, I got to get this one."
Yeah.
Of course, as the roll went down and I didn't buy it, then there's other auction or bidding games, so I end up buying that instead. But yeah, For Sale for sure is such a good one. It's like you said, simple rules, but then the decisions are tough once you get to it.
Yep, that's right. I accidentally hit your honorable mentions, but spoiler alert, here they come.
Great.
Daryl, just start the show over, folks.
Yeah.
You've got two on your honorable mention list. You want to talk about those, please?
Yeah, so I have Survive, Escape from Atlantis, and Kingsburg. Survive, I don't own anymore because I outgrew it. So I ended up giving it away to somebody that is fairly new to board gaming, so they'll love it as much as I did. I'm trying to think anything about Survive. Survive is just pretty much you're trying to get off the island of Atlantis as it's sinking. You'll roll the dice, and then after you roll the dice and move the monsters or sharks, whatever it is, then you get to move. You get like 3 movement points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whether that's moving your person or moving a boat that you're on and trying to get off the island in one of the 4 corners. The thing is, initially, once you start the game, you have these little numbers at the bottom of your meeples. Once you put them on there, though, you're not allowed to look at them for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So it's the fact of, where's my number 6 guy at number 5?
Yeah.
But what's cool is you don't want to make it obvious. At least for when I played my brother or whoever it is.
Yep.
You don't want to make it obvious because if you're moving that first person, they're gonna go, "Oh, that's the number 6." All right, and then they try and sink it.
Let's go get that guy. Yep.
Yeah. So
speaking of your brother, he says Survive still a great game. I agree.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's just I outgrew it and I have like 100 and something games. So I'm good.
It's always good to share the love. Correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Some of the other honorable mentions people have been talking about. Amanda says Click Clack Lumberjack is a game that always gets non-gamers play in. Yes, that one's fun. Dexterity game. Michelle, my wife, says Ticket to Ride was my gateway. Yes, and I have a feeling that game might be talked about in just a few minutes here. Andrew says love Click Clack Lumberjack, filler game, dexterity game. Yes, so much fun with people in between games. Yes. Let me see. We were talking about Survive, Escape from Atlantis. How about Kingsburg? Kingsburg is another good one. I'm assuming you still have Kingsburg. I think it's solid. Yeah, it's such a good game.
Yeah, so Kingsburg, I have it with one of the expansions. Yep. I think there's 2 expansions, but I only got the one that I felt was like essential for it. But this one, I don't know, it's just really, I don't know when I got it, forgot, but it came after I got more into the hobby. So even though to me it was still early to me when I got into the hobby, Kingsburg was just one that just blew my mind. Where it's like, I got to build my little like town or little area with my buildings, but those buildings are actually going to give me other stuff. So I got to like think ahead of what I want to do. Yeah. And then rolling the dice, I didn't know at the time was like a dice or worker placement. Yep. I just knew so you roll dice and you're going to mark where you're going. Okay. Yeah. But it's just there's so many elements in Kingsburg that I feel like there's so many choices, but it's still fairly easy.
For
a gateway game.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a good point. Like you talk about how you use those dice. It's not the typical way you use dice. You know, like you and I, we grew up playing Monopoly. I'm used to rolling dice and then moving a piece. You know, this is totally not that. You know, and that's why I like Kingsburg a lot. Good choice, man. Amanda has an important question. Says, who's better at games, you or Daryl? She's talking to your brother.
I don't know. Lately, Daniel's I think won more of them. So
I don't know about that, Daryl. You better get up on that, man. Better take care of business.
That's the main reason why I try to make games, so I can make games where I always win. So
nice, man.
It's not working though. He always no lie. He always beats me in bad juju. Like
okay.
I think I've beaten him like twice, and the rest he beats me. I'm getting sick of it.
Time to start a new game.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thanks. That's honorable mentions. We're going to continue now. Let's get into the heart of our list. These are our top 3 gateway games, folks. So these are the games that really sunk their teeth into me and Daryl and got us into the hobby. I'm going to start here, and my number 3 is Blood Rage. Blood Rage. So this one, this is the new, this is the Kickstarter exclusive stuff that just came out. I kickstarted that one. This is, I don't know if I'd call this an actual, so I'm sort of cheating here. I don't know if it's an actual gateway game, but for me, personally, after I'd started playing games, and I'll talk about the ones I really played a lot at first. After I started playing games, Blood Rage is the one that said, whoa, this is like a new experience. Like this is something heavier than I'm used to playing, and this is something that I really, really enjoy. And again, seeing all those minis everywhere, the minis blew me away. And I actually played my friend Patrick's copy. You know Patrick. His copy was fully painted, so I was like, oh my gosh, someone sat here and painted these. I was taking pictures, oh my gosh, look, I'm playing Blood Rage. So that was my number 3 as far as really. So I was getting into games already. That's the one that took me to look deeper into the games and look for maybe some heavier stuff, but also just things that games that I wasn't really playing at the time. So that's my number 3, Blood Rage. Any thoughts, Daryl, on Blood Rage?
I think you're right to say it's not. I wouldn't say it's a gateway, but for you it was because it's one of your first ones that you got you into it.
Yep.
Because I remember the first time I played it was with you, and again, since this is my first year actually going to 4Color or wherever we would go to meet up to play.
Yeah.
Blood Rage, I was a little intimidated, oh man, what am I going to do? Even though I already played several games before this.
Yeah.
But it is one where it's just fairly simple to learn once you do 2 rounds of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do this and this and this, then we go next round.
Yep. It really flows smoothly, the game turns, and I get it. I agree. If you're new to gaming, it could look intimidating. You have all these pieces everywhere, you got all these cards, and you got all this stuff to do, but it really, again, I'm a huge fan of Eric Lang's, so his designs, I really appreciate how there's it's just a smooth gameplay experience, but then you always have those big turns where everyone's fighting and everything's going crazy. So yeah, Blood Rage, my number 3. All right, Daryl, what about your number 3? What was your number 3 gateway game?
My number 3 is Revolution.
No, Revolution. Oh, I got these backwards here.
Do I have it?
Revolution. I had it as number. Okay, I'm doing number 3 is Revolution. All right, Daryl, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Talk about Revolution. This is from Steve Jackson Games.
Steve Jackson Games, and it's a bidding game, but you're bidding with power, blackmail, and money or gold, and you're pretty much, it's area control, I believe.
Yep.
Area majority, where you have your colored cubes and you're trying to mark various areas on this board. So you might be trying to mark, I don't know the names right now, but the gardens or the palace, which palace is an expansion, or the jail, whatever. So you're trying to mark as many of your colored cubes in one area compared to your opponent, which if I have 5 and you have 3, then right now I have majority. Once the game ends, then whoever has a majority gets those points. But it's just cool because with the 3 pieces, gold, you me bet are bidding gold on. So we have our little boards and we're behind our little boards and no one could see our little player boards.
Yep.
I might be marking the harbor and so are you, but if I use 5 gold, but you put blackmail, well, any number of blackmail, whether it's 1 blackmail to gold, you beat me. So, but if someone else is playing and they used a power, like a fist, well, then they beat you and me. So it's just cool that, and then I think I found out that it's after the rounds when you get more stuff to bid with. I feel like they even it out because if you were like at like towards the end and you weren't doing so well, you might get a extra gold, a blackmail, and a fist or something.
Yeah.
When the other people that already got their stuff, they won't get extra stuff for it.
Right. It's a cool catch-up mechanism for sure.
Yeah, which you need in this game because if you didn't have that, then
runaway leader.
Takes the lead, then it's just over.
Yeah, I remember this game. I'd heard about it for years. I'd never played it until you brought it in the game night that one time, and I liked it. I was honestly not expecting to like it. It didn't seem like it was my thing, but I really enjoyed it. I think the catch-up mechanism definitely helps because it doesn't make sure everyone stays sort of close and everything. But I know this was one of your first games that you really got into the modern board game thing, right?
Yeah. So the 3 on my list are pretty much within the first year of me getting into the gaming hobby, and Revolution was the one when I first started getting into it, I was researching online. This is when I finally was like, I found various videos on YouTube of different people reviewing games and all that.
Nice.
And I seriously did maybe like 2 hours worth of, I didn't know it was 2 hours, but Abby, my wife, tells me later on, like after I got off, she's like, you're on the computer for 2 hours reviewing games. And I was like, I didn't know.
I think that's probably when you knew you were into the hobby, right?
Yeah. So since I wasn't in the hobby yet, I actually bought Revolution used. And again, I was like, prior to this, I was like, I'll never buy a board game used. Like, I was unsure how good the game is since I'm like, ooh, Monopoly though, it's so fun. I don't know how good Revolution's going to be. So, so sure enough, I bought the used copy, and then after that, now it's just going to stay in my collection. Like, even though I don't play it often, it's just one I can't get rid of. So it's,
I feel you. Nice, man. That's a good choice. So everyone in chat, thank you again for hanging out with us. This is Top 3 at 3. I'm hanging out with my friend Daryl Durston. He is a game designer, teacher, one of my friends, and local gaming buddies. We're talking about our top 3 gateway games today. So if you have a gateway game you'd like to shout out, throw it in the chat. Let's talk. So Amanda says, did you play Monopoly right or with house rules? I always play with the house rules. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know how to play normal Monopoly. I've never, I think, like, isn't the house rule like where you put money on the jail space or whatever space, or free parking or something like that?
Free parking is seriously just a free space. You don't get anything. That's
we threw a bunch of money on there.
I think once me and Daniel, because me and Daniel are the ones that always played it, my brother. Once we got old enough, like in our early 20s, we played it exact house rules, except I believe we still kept free parking with the money in it though. Okay. Just because that made it more fun. But other than that, we did all the house rules where if someone doesn't buy the card, then it goes up for sale right away or for auction.
Yes.
So.
Nice. Andrew says, bidding for property. Bidding for property, best base rule. No one uses a Monopoly. Monique says, a recent gateway I have loved is Point Salad. Yeah, Point Salad is a great gateway game. Mm-hmm. And I know before the lockdown, the shutdown came down, we were using Point Salad a lot at our game nights as, for new players and as a filler. Daryl, I'm going to switch it up. How about we talk about your number 2 game? I think I have this on my little caption thing here. We'll see.
I'm just going to make you guess, Ruel.
I know.
Number 2 is
Twilight Imperium. What?
So number 2 is Ticket to Ride.
There it is. Nice. Awesome.
I don't have the box with me right now just because
all good.
I've bought in several other Ticket to Rides and they're all in one box. So but Ticket to Ride, it was actually my buddy John that kept on telling me and my brother about this game because we kept on playing various games, whether it was like trivia games or whatever. And for like a year or so, he was like, "Oh, you guys should try Ticket to Ride. I've seen someone play the game. It looks really cool." And first, I'm just like, "All right, man, sure, like whatever." I think my brother bought the game for me, or I don't know who bought it, but we ended up getting Ticket to Ride. And that night, I think we played it like 4 times in a row.
We're just so like good, right?
Yeah. We're blown away.
Was this before you got Revolution or after you got Revolution?
Oh, it was seriously around the same time.
Around the same time. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's just it was just so exciting to us. Like, whoa, like simple. You just take cards or you play cards. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
yet there's strategy. You got to figure out which lines you're gonna put down there. And Yeah, real quick, I got to throw this made me laugh. Book of Nerds, John Gonzalez, thank you, John, says, haven't played point salad yet. I ate some salad last week, though.
That's a start.
Kudos to you, John. Yes, nice, man. Yeah, Ticket to Ride. Sorry, I'm going to jump in here, Daryl, because my number 2 is also Ticket to Ride. This was, Michelle had commented earlier, this was her gateway game, and I remember exactly when I got it. It was like, I think in March 2015. I had played my number 1 game, which I'll talk about in just a minute. I played the number 1 game a bunch, but Michelle really wasn't into it. So I said, Ticket to Ride, I think this one will work. And we did the exact same thing. We ordered that first night. I think we played it twice, but then we played it like 7 or 8 nights in a row. It was insane. Like every night, and there was times when we played twice in a night, so it's like, if we were doing a 10 by 10 challenge, we would have got that 10 in like a week, so and it's so awesome. And it's still, I always laugh at this. This is, Michelle had the longest winning streak in gaming that between the two of us. I think it was like 7 times in a row she beat me. And I was like, what happened? Why can't I win in this game? But it was so much fun. I absolutely love Ticket to Ride. I have the base game somewhere, but I wanted to show this one. I know you like this one too. Ticket to Ride, the UK version. This is my new favorite, not the UK board, but the Pennsylvania board is the one I absolutely love. And whenever we play it now, I always try to include Pennsylvania because it has stocks. So you can buy stocks, you can, and that's another way to collect points. I love that one a lot. Let's throw on some of our friends here. Amanda Panda says, Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, Catan are classic gateways, but the ones I like to get people into is Takenoko, yes. Lords of Waterdeep, yes, and Forbidden Desert. Yeah, all 3 of those, great games. Monique says, my family got introduced to games with Forbidden Island. Yes, another one. I know Daryl's not the biggest fan of co-ops, but co-ops are, I think, a great way to get family members and also people who aren't really into games and they're not sure yet. Like, I think co-ops are a great way to introduce them. And, like, it's something different. It's not your standard gameplay experience. So with that being said, I don't know. Do you want to say anything else about Ticket to Ride, Daryl? Like your favorite expansions or anything?
My favorite one is the one you held up. And I do like both sides, I guess, equally, because the UK side, it's a little more strategy because you got to look ahead and kind of build your technologies that you want to go, because you can only go to certain areas with, a faster engine or whatever it is.
Yep.
But Pennsylvania, like you're mentioning, it's the stock. It's cool because it's still very simple. Once you lay down the tracks, you get to pick one of the stocks that's along that track.
Yep.
So it's not like there's not a lot of depth there where it's like, oh, what do I do? That's taking longer than it should.
Right.
It's still very easy Ticket to Ride. It's like, hey, I lay it down, I'm gonna take this stock.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. And me and Daniel like that one a lot.
I agree. I totally agree. Andrew, Catan, first gateway game back in 1999. Wow, got an old school gamer here. Yeah. Love it. Amanda says, I really like the team play for Ticket to Ride. We haven't done the team play yet, right?
No, I have it though.
You have it, right?
Yeah.
I know we've always talked about it, but obviously right now it's not going to happen, but hopefully one of these days we can do that.
Maybe I could play that one with Amanda since she said.
There you go. Yeah, you guys will be on the same team. Hey, Downtown Durston, this is Daryl's brother. Don't know if it's a gateway, but Machi Coral is such a great game if you love Monopoly but want to get deeper into strategy. Totally agree. 100% agree. Machi Coral is fantastic. And I think if anyone tells me, hey, I like Monopoly but I'm interested in new games, I would totally tell them to play Machi Coral.
Oh, yeah.
It's got dice rolling, but instead of moving, you gain coins, right? You get the economy going and get other buildings. Yes, absolutely. What are we talking about? Ticket to Ride. Any other thoughts before we finish up that and go on to our number ones?
I think we're good.
Okay, I'm going to go to my number 1, and then you'll round things up with your number 1, Daryl. So my number 1, this is the game that got me into modern board games 5 years ago, folks. January 2015. I remember this was a birthday present to myself that I bought through Amazon. It was Pandemic, and it's sort of funny talking about a pandemic given the current situation, but it is what it is. Pandemic. I saw it on Will Wheaton's tabletop, and I was so fascinated by it because number 1, the theme was like, wow, this is crazy, and obviously it's happened. But number 2, it was a cooperative game. I've never played a cooperative game before ever, and it seemed so cool to me. And when I got it, it arrived. I learned the rules. Michelle and I played. She wasn't really into it, which is fine because I was able to solo it. So that was my first experience with solo board gaming as well. I mean, up until that time, solo games was me playing solitaire on the computer or on the cards or whatever. But Pandemic, I love it. It's I actually, so let me just do a little commercial for myself. I just did a top 10 list with Rado, folks. So Rado just released this video. We did our top 10 cooperative games. And spoiler alert, Pandemic may or may not be on that list. So please go check out Rado's channel. I'm happy to announce that I'll be working with him in the near future on some projects. So super excited about that. Pandemic, that's my number one. Daryl, I know you're not a big fan of cooperative games, but let's talk about Pandemic.
Yeah, I did Pandemic twice, I believe, and I like the game a lot, but
Whoops.
It's
whoops. So pretend you guys didn't see that.
Yeah, don't worry. They said 3, so we're good. Pandemic was fun and all that, but since I'm one that wants to get involved as much into the game as possible, I did find out, of course, I wanted to do all the stuff. So I wasn't playing it solo like you did. Yeah. Where if it was my wife's turn, Abby, I'd be like, "Ooh, you could do this and this and this," and it's like, and I know that's annoying. So it's like, I don't know. And in the end, I just hated the fact of, for me. So Pandemic, great game, but not for me, just because I don't like the fact of where it's like, let's talk about it. What are we gonna do? It's like, let's just play. So that's why usually co-ops I'm out.
and that's a valid point. And again, the quarterbacking or the alpha dog player is such an issue with cooperative games. So that's totally true. I totally agree. And I think that's why I enjoyed it solo, because I didn't have to sit there and I could just sit there quietly. To me, it's like a puzzle. Instead of doing a puzzle, I'm trying to save the world, right? Yeah. So that's a valid point. You're totally wrong, but I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, I still love it to this day. And I think with co-op games, at least me personally, I love when co-op games like Fuse or something where there's a real-time element. I think that really diffuses the alpha dog syndrome, because you have no time to talk about strategy. It's like, do it or you're losing time, right?
Yeah, Fuse was another big hit for us. We just played as another game. I mean, especially because it's 10 minutes long in the game. Yeah. So we would do that maybe 5 times in a row, just because we'd lose at some point or win the easy round of it, and we're like, oh, let's do it again. Like you said, there's no quarterbacking, because it's like, hey, I got this number. Someone need it, know it, or whatever. How you do it? Yeah,
you got no time. You have no time. There's
no time. Yep. That's so right. I did like Fuse a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. Andrew says, not technically my gateway games, but ones I like to use to intro others to gaming. Century Spice Road, which I know Daryl's a big fan. I am too. Yeah. Ship Shape, which I absolutely love. That's one of my favorite gateway games now. The Climbers, I haven't played. Camel Cup, another good one. Magic Maze and Ice Cool. All great games. Yes.
Yeah, Magic Maze I like a lot, and it's a co-op.
Yep.
The Camel Up one I have. The new version of it.
The new version, right.
Yeah.
Amanda says, great list. Finally, Monique says, Patrick's another great. Yes, I absolutely agree. Uwe Rosenberg, but it's streamlined. It's perfect for 2 players. Daryl, let's talk about your number one. I sort of spoiled it. Hit the wrong button, but I've changed it now. What's your number one, Daryl?
Number one is
Gateway
Bang.
Game. Bang, there it is. Nice. Talk about Bang.
Yeah, so the reason why it's up there for me is because once we got Bang, it was another game where we just kept on playing it over and over again, and especially when you get 5 to 8 people playing the game. Yep. So it was an easy, cool party game. Some of the rules, I guess, as we were learning them, get a little funky, I think, at least to us when we're reading it. But to us, it was a good party game to get everyone involved, because usually, there might be a game where it's 4 people, but we have 8 people there. It's like, well, what are we going to do? So Bang was one that we just, again, nonstop played like Ticket to Ride. The reason why it's 1 is because I believe I had this before Ticket to Ride and Revolution.
Okay.
And then we got Ticket to Ride after this. So, and this is one that's hard to let go, because I rarely play it. Yeah. But it's hard to let go because it's man, this one was so many good memories. And
I hear you.
You know what I mean? So
that's why I still have my copy of Pandemic. I mean, it was I think it's the 2nd edition or whatever, but it's still my original one. It's still in great shape. I played the heck out of it. I just realized something. Sorry to, I know we're talking about Bang, but I just realized that Pandemic was also the first game I ever blinged out.
Nice.
I was after maybe a month of playing. I bought the little Petri dishes from Amazon. So, you can put your little cubes, your everything else. The Petri dishes were I think $5 for a bunch of them. But yeah, that was my first bling out.
And it just makes it more legit.
Right. Yeah. So Bang. This is, I think it's really cool that you got into that because party game. I don't. Do you consider that a party game? Would Bang be a party game?
No, but I only do because it holds up to 8 people. So
Yeah,
to me,
I
it's
think,
like, oh, that's a big amount of people. So
yeah, and I think
but I
those
wouldn't
are.
say. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know if it's a party, but I think it fits well in those situations where you have a lot of people who really aren't into games. I think this is an easy one. It's like, hey, we can all play together, and we're playing against each other, of course, but it's fun and it's funny. I mean, it's comedy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Anything else about Bang before we wrap up here?
Bang. I believe this is a funny thing to mention because the last time I played Bang was probably. I want to say maybe 4 years ago or so.
Oh wow!
And it's because we had 8 people playing because with the expansion you could add 8 instead of 7 or whatever. Yep. And we did all the expansions, and the game seriously took probably right at 3-hour mark.
Oh my! Really?
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah.
At the end, we were done, and we're like, "Hey, never again are we doing all expansions."
I was gonna say that.
And so
that's insane.
Yeah, so since then we're like I don't know, like scared of it. So
yeah, it's time to just get 5 players, go right back to the base game, get rid of everything else, and just play that. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. 3-hour game of Bang. You might as well turn it into a legacy game at that point.
Exactly.
Campaign. Daryl, I want to thank you again for hanging out with me, man, and sharing your story. Always appreciate your time, man, and also talking about your favorite Gateway games. I really appreciate it, and want to thank you for your time. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
Yeah, of course.
I want to shout out Andrew. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, I believe this is our first subscriber to our Twitch channel. Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate it. Andrew and I, we met. I don't know if we should be talking about where we meet or anything, but we did play a game of Twilight Imperium before. So Andrew is a man, and we sort of like it was one of my favorite stories. I'm going to save that for next time though, because we're running short of time here. But thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it, friends. This has been Top 3 at 3. I do this 2 or 3 times a week, just depending. I'm talking to friends and people in the industry, designers, hardcore gamers. We're just talking about our shared love of this hobby. So thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. I've got a very special guest on Wednesday. I'm not going to say anything yet, but a very special guest. Not that Daryl isn't special, but I see him all the time.
I was about to say, I didn't know you were going to have me again, Ruel. But all right.
Yeah, Daryl. By the way, what are you doing Wednesday? No. But folks, I'm going to be back at Virtual Gaming Con. That's the convention online put together by Board Game Geek and the Dice Tower. So I'm going to be on the main stage there. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff with the crew over there. I'll go have some guests as well. We're going to do the same format here, just going to talk, and we're going to talk about a top 3 list as well. So on behalf of Daryl, I want to thank you all for your time. Until next time, we'll see you at the tabletop. All right. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.